With the nation still stunned by the deadly violence and bomb threats over the last week targeted at African Americans, the Jewish community, and top Democrats, the president has been blaming the media for the division and lack of civility in our country. But in an interview with Axios, he reveals why attacking the media is an effective strategy.
It's like what scares the crap out of me is that if you're saying enemy the people, God
forbid,
have
to fight back. You're
but
right.
No, but hold on a second. But this thing, God forbid that somebody you've got fervent supporters. They love you. They listen to you. Enemy the people. Enemy the people.
They like me more because of that.
They like you more. But what happens if all of a sudden someone gets shot? Someone shoots one of these reporters.
Jim,
is that? But I don't think you think we're the enemy of the people.
I don't. But if you gave me false reports, I would say that's not a good thing for our country.
But don't you worry at all? I mean, you are like the most powerful man in the world, and if you say that word, enemy, literally tens of thousands of people go into a stadium to listen to you, and then people go on social media and they get themselves so jazzed up. There's got to be a party that's like, damn it, I'm scared that someone is going to take it.
It's my only form of fighting back.
And as Fox and Friends covered the new interview this morning, anchors sympathized with the president's frustration with the media. Watch.
That has to be frustrating, and that's why he's saying it's fake news. And he's saying if you don't want to be called the enemy, then get the story right, be accurate, and report the story the way that I want it reported.
No. Memo to Fox. That is not what journalists do. Report on the story the way the president wants it to be reported. That's not journalism. That's state-run TV. This is America, and our founding fathers, that was amendment number 1 on their to-do list. With me now, Alisyn Camerota, anchor of CNN's New Day, who's very familiar with that sofa and that place.
I am, and those folks are still my friends, but to be clear, they have different standards there than we do on my morning show, New Day. Theirs is a morning show. Ours is a news program.
So let's talk about everything that's happened this last week in particular has really made you mindful of a conversation you had with then candidate Donald Trump in May of 2016, where you rolled across Manhattan up to Trump Tower and had a conversation with him trying to explain the role of the free press.
That is true.
Do tell.
Okay, let me regale you with it. And people can find it online at CNN.com.
Yes.
Okay, so then candidate Trump had stopped coming on New Day at that point. I had interviewed him a couple of times on New Day, I think 3 times, and then it dried up. He would no longer agree to come on, and I wanted to know what had happened, if something had gone wrong. And if so, I wanted to try to resolve it. I don't like unfinished business. And so I called over to Trump Tower and spoke to his longtime assistant and said, I don't know if there's some sort of bad blood, but I would certainly like to resolve it if there's any way that I possibly could.
Good for you.
And so she said, give me a little bit of time to figure it out. And she called back immediately and said, Mr. Trump would like to see you tomorrow. So I knew there had to be something. So I went over to Trump Tower and I was greeted warmly by the candidate, Donald Trump. I knew him already because on Fox and Friends, he had a standing slot I believe it was Monday morning, to opine and sort of pontificate about politics. So I had interviewed him several times there. This time, when I encountered him in his office, he started by saying, what happened to you? You're so mean to me now.
You're so mean to me now. This coming from candidate Trump.
Yes.
And you said?
I said, time out. I'm not mean to you. I feel the same way about you personally, but this isn't personal. You're now a candidate running for president of the United States, and I now work at a news program that has different journalistic standards than a morning show. The rules have changed. They've changed entirely, and I gave him sort of a dissertation, frankly, on the role of the free press. I said, we're watchdogs, not lapdogs, and when I hear hypocrisy or when I hear a discrepancy in position, I'm tasked with having to point it out now. And, I explained those used to be friendly interviews. Those were not hard-hitting interviews.